There is a saying that a good sign of integration is to have humor about oneself, because of course it is much easier to complain about one's problems and challenges. But if you have a sense of humor about your problems, then they're not that exaggerated anymore. Well, the thing is that everybody has problems and challenges and issues. But that's what life is, isn't it? And we can walk through life complaining, or we can walk with joy and ease and having fun. Even with the problems on our path, why not have fun with the problems? Sometimes there is something we can do, but sometimes there isn't. It just is as it is right now. And why exaggerate it? Why make it heavier? Why not have fun? Because anyways, it is as it is. So today's topic is that your body, mind, emotions are already integrated consciousness. So keep in note that we're flipping the coin today. We will look at all of it from a different perspective. So integrated consciousness, to see that, you only need to pause for a moment. And then you will say, but there is a higher state and I want to be that. Okay, but right now, let's check what is now. Because now you are already integrated consciousness, exactly like this right now. Because the physical body is the very last stage of manifestation. First there was consciousness, and then all those subtle layers came into existence, including your mind and emotions and energies. And the body is the very last part of consciousness, manifestation or integration. I mean, how much more solid you want to be? Literally, consciousness has settled into this form, into the physicality. You are already the very final stage of consciousness integration. From the eyes of consciousness itself, from the eyes of God, this couldn't be more integrated than it is right now. And from the eyes of consciousness, even your emotions, or to be more precise, the emotions that flow through you, because they're not really yours. The emotions that passes through you, and the thoughts and concepts of the mind that you have integrated in yourself. I mean, humanity is so integrated that humanity even claimed to be fixated, and claimed that in a fixated way that these thoughts are mine, these emotions are mine, this form is mine. So this is like another interesting layer of integration of consciousness. Today it's not about fixing stuff. As I said, we will flip the coin. Today it's about seeing what already is. And I'm not telling anything new. I am telling you more clearly what already is. So consciousness, God, self, is so integrated as you now here that for God or self or consciousness, it's pretty much impossible to be more integrated than this. I understand, of course, very well that from a personal perspective, that's a completely different story, because we want to integrate higher. We are sick and tired of claiming every thought to be ours, of claiming every emotion to be mine. We are tired of being in the body and feeling all the contractions and limitations and pains and aches and cracks and nuts and bolts. I get that. But let's see from a different perspective than one normally thinks, is that you are the very last final product of God, consciousness, self. That physicality is the very final form of manifestation. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because if you were, let's say, at the astral plane, it's more fluid. It means it's less stable. So in some ways, it may be more difficult to witness the stability of consciousness. But in the physical body, it's so stable that you can process, everything can flow through it, and the body is still here. That's the stability of consciousness. Because again, if you're in the astral or whichever other region, it is so fluid, everything is energy, that it's more like an ocean, where everything is continuously moving. There are currents, it's all moving, all flowing. How will you find stability in that? It might be not easy, because everything is in a constant flow and movement. But here in physicality, you have the anchor, your body. So this is very unique. If we just stop for a moment, any activity, emotional, mental, energetic, we push the handbrake, and you will witness that you exist, that you already are, and that is the self. That is God. That is your natural self. It couldn't be any different. So for a moment, it's very easy to be Buddha, as I don't know if Buddha said or somebody else, but for a moment, it's very easy to be Buddha But to be Buddha continuously, that's a bit more difficult. Because you are so much used to the changes, the flow. You're so used to the processes of mind, thoughts, concepts, ideas, beliefs. You're so used to feeling stuff. You see how much integrated you are. You're so integrated into the mind, into emotions and feelings. You're so used to all of that. You're so integrated into the energies if you have been working on them for the past some years. So that is the challenge, that you're so integrated into those aspects of movement, of change. Even the concepts or beliefs or values or thoughts, they are not stable. Even if you carry them for 20 years believing that the earth is flat, well, the reality it's not. You know, people believed that for a long, long time, but it's not. So you assume that you are stable in what you know, but in reality, that knowing stability is not stable. It's temporary, because the ground upon which it stands is the consciousness, the self, your natural self. That is stable. And consciousness is always stable, self, God. We assume that the body is stable, but there's always something going on. You know, when you're young, you kind of ignore everything that's going on in your body. When you get older, you really get to know that a lot is going on in your body. But every moment there is heartbeat, there is the flow of the inner fluids. It's alive, it's very alive. It's always something is going on. Every second, every moment, every split of a second, it's happening. But we assume that the body is stable. Well, yes, it is physical in nature, but actually it's very, very dynamic of what's going on in it, behind the skin. It's very dynamic. Maybe the bones are the ones which are most stable, but even in 7 years, every cell of the bone is changed. Every cell of your whole being in 7 years is changed. So let me tell you that your actual age, is never more than 7 years. Like, from a cellular perspective, no one here is older than 7 years. That's the scientific reality of it. If we go a bit deeper, there is no age. Because the cells, they're always alive. Some of them die, some of them are born. It's just happening now. There's no age in reality. If we measure, of course, the tissues, then yes, over 7 years, every cell is replaced. So we have to step out of that collective mentality. The imposed wiring. You know, when you buy a new smartphone, it's already pre-installed with Facebook, Google, and whatever else, camera and notes. So similar way, when a human is born, it gets pre-installed with a collective mentality. But I look at the collective mentality like, for example, you know, having seen so many cultures around the world, I can look at the collective mentality of British, and you can really see the typical British, how they are, how they usually behave. Then Americans, different. And this is still Western society. Then there is, of course, Eastern and Mediterranean societies. And the Eastern ones, Japanese or Chinese or Thai or so on, they're so different. Yet again, like a whole different universe, literally. But all of these, anyways, are pre-installed mentalities of how one thinks, how one perceives, how one understands. And none of them are real. None of them have a true basis of reality. So what is, to get out from it, we could see that these structures are like a net, you know, like a fishing net. But the fishing net has a lot of holes. There are these squares everywhere. But look through the holes. Yeah, look through the holes. And to look through the holes is you pause, and then you see. Probably this is the most Zen exercise ever. Pause and see. And then you see. You see how the mind pulls you. You see how emotions pull you. You see how various energies pull you. They all want your attention. I'm going to tell you this. They're like crying babies. They all want your attention. So that's why at the inner light awakening or higher self, we do the exercise of observation. We learn to observe. When we get to presence, we deepen this practice of observation to not only observe, but to allow what is here to be with it in a correct way, as the space for it and not in it. Because at the higher self or inner light, there's not much that strength or capacity. So you can only pause for as long and be neutral, but then you get pulled into whatever flows through. In presence, you have a greater capacity to pause and see, to be with whatever there is as the space for it. From presence to full consciousness, you just keep doing that. Pause and see, be with what is. And even in full consciousness, well, that's how you are. You have a capacity to witness what is here, not get caught up in it too much unless you need to heal it, and to recognize that whatever arises, thoughts, emotions, energies, is not really you. It's not who you are. So in a way, it's the same practice that is extended. It's pause and see. Like 3 words, pause and see. And then we use that all the way throughout until you get to full consciousness. Until you can more and more be yourself, who you are. And be more clear who you are. More and more clear that I'm not these emotions, I'm not these thoughts, I'm not this energy, I'm not that energy. And you just pause and you see. And if something pulls you deeply, well, you need to take care of that. There is some work to do. But the essence is very simple. That when you pause, you see, you already exist. And that is yourself. That is God. If it doesn't trigger in your mind any other associations. I have no problem to use any word. Because it doesn't trigger my mind. It doesn't limit who I am, whatever words I use. So your duty is to be to who you are, not this, not that. And when you pause and you see that you already exist, you are that. And at the same time, beautifully, automatically, everything is included in it as well. You're whole and complete already. Even the words whole and complete have a certain feeling to it that you want to feel that. Even that is limited. Even the word integrated is also a limiting word. Because when you pause and see, you already are. You already exist. And you are boundless, limitless. If when I pause and see, well, I am so familiar with what that is, that for me, that is more real than anything else that's going on here, which changes. So I became so much more familiar with the infinite self, with the bliss itself, which includes everything. That is more familiar to me than the mentalities of people, cultures, energies, feelings, thoughts, bodily sensations. And that's what I said at the beginning, that from the eyes of the self, everything is already integrated. That this body is beautiful, that any life challenges are beautiful, that life's joys and sorrows are beautiful, that even the tragedies of life are beautiful too. their colors and shades, like a movie or a painting. Now, how can we further assure that you are? Well, you cannot deny your being. You cannot deny your being. In other words, can you deny that you exist? That you are? You can try to tell yourself, I don't exist as long as you want, but anyways, you are. So we're going to be flipping coins today. Try to say, I don't exist. And see that you might laugh at yourself. Because you are. And if you laugh at this, who is laughing? It's your natural self which is laughing. Because it's not your mind laughing. This laugh is more spontaneous. Something in you, which is the natural you, laughs at the stupidity by saying, I don't exist. So you cannot deny your being, that you exist. These are all the moments where your natural self just in a split of a second comes forth. And then some of you will say, oh, but I am still in presence. I'm not sure about this. Well, if you are not sure about this, but your body is laughing spontaneously and knowing that you exist, so who is not sure about this? Who is not sure about this? That you exist, that you already are. So how long do you need to wait to be? Do you need to wait to exist? I can stay here and wait for you until you will get this. Well, that's what it means that you are the self now. There's no need to wait for it. So this existence that you already are is obviously already here. No doubt about that. And it's your very own nature. Then the question is, to whom it's not obvious? Who is still trying to figure things out? Who is trying to be? Who is trying to exist? Tell yourself, I'm trying to exist now. I'm really trying to be, to exist now. And I keep trying and trying and trying. So that's what I'm saying. From the eyes of the self, this is such a comedy going on that everybody is pretending to be somebody else that they're not. Everybody is half asleep, although they are awake. And everybody is playing strange games that are not good for themselves. It's like sometimes when you watch like television, you get like, wow, you know, how they don't get it, how they don't see that. It's so obvious. But when you are a character in the movie, you're playing your role, you're doing what you're told to do. However, the beauty is that reality is so much better than anything that you know. The true reality is so much better than anything that you know. Would you allow that? For something to be much better than what you know? I would say that's a good deal. I would surely take that deal. So when you look at this moment, it is the self that is looking. It is your existence that is staring through your eyes. But the thing is that this existence is not the thoughts, it's not the mind. Because you would prefer that, you would love that your mind would be the ultimate existence. But the good news is that it's not. Because if the mind was ultimate existence, what would be, we already know. Nothing good. So reality is so much better than what we know, than the mind. And when we look at this moment, it is your existence that is looking at this moment. How familiar you are with that. And I will tell you one more thing, that not something is to be found. Again, your mind would like to find something, but the existence is looking through the eyes. And it's more than something. Your mind would prefer that it would be something tangible. You can grab it, squash it, squeeze it, cuddle it. When you don't like it, you smack it. When you love it, you cuddle it. But it's not. The existence is free. How familiar you are with that? Do we need to wait for another moment? For your existence to shine through? Do we even need another moment? We say, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. I need more time for my existence to shine through. Let me take a break. I need some time for this. So from the eyes of existence, from the eyes of self or God, everything is very already integrated. It's more of from which eyes do we see things? From which eyes do we look at everything? Look from the eyes of existence. Your existence is not my existence. It's not his or hers. It's not the existence of that guru or that teacher. It is your existence. A good guru or teacher will show you exactly this. They will tell you, you're so confused, you don't know even who you are. Let me help you to figure it out who you really are now. Now this is the revelation of the truth. That's what it is. It's so simple. Just pause and see it for yourself. Your existence is already looking through your eyes. You already are and exist, no doubt. We checked that already a couple of times. Okay, since we now know this is clearly so, then of course what makes a difference is how much you have settled into that, how much you've made it your home, how much your real self is real as existence to you, whatever you are, beyond assumptions. So there is where the whole difference is. For a second, this is easy to get it and laugh about it and see it. But to be that longer, continuously, clearly, is where the work is. Now that's where we can use the more usually understood word integration. Yeah, that's a job to move those veils, to peel that onion of your own self. And as you peel it, you cry it and you laugh about it. That's the hard part. The hardest part, of course, if you don't know who you are. Because then you feel lost, confused, nothing makes sense. That's the limited self. But when you get even a glimpse of that, your own existence, even for a second, you have gained immense clarity. How much you settle into that is infinite. Infinite. That's where the difference comes in. That's where spiritual masters, they made it their home. It's the best home there is. It makes complete sense, obviously. And their job is to try to help others so that they too can recognize their own existence, who they are. Welcome them home. Is there a better job than welcoming everybody home? How much deeply we can dive into our own existence. The beauty is that it's endless. There are no limitations to your own existence whatsoever. Infinite love and bliss and truth, peace, joy, happiness. Now we want that, of course. But do not seek separate qualities. Go for the core, from where those qualities arise.